The Western Pacific is heating up, not just from climate change, but from rising military tensions. At the center is China, flexing its muscles with the launch of its advanced aircraft carrier, the Fujian. This warship isn't just a symbol, it's a leap in China's ability to project power equipped with cutting-edge catapults and ready-to-lead carrier groups. For Taiwan, the Fujian's presence is a chilling sign. Analysts warn it could spearhead a blockade or invasion. Beijing's rhetoric grows sharper, refusing to rule out force for reunification. The tension spills into the East and South China Seas, where China's claims clash with neighbors like Japan. Chinese warships and jets now operate closer to Taiwan and Japan, raising the risk of dangerous encounters. One incident saw a Chinese warship lock radar on a Japanese destroyer, a move just short of firing. Though de-escalated, it underscored how close the region is to a flashpoint. Every patrol and exercise now carries the risk of a mistake that could spark a wider conflict. The shadow of China's growing military power looms over the Pacific, unsettling the entire region. The world is watching, aware that a single misstep could have global consequences. The stakes have never been higher. Taiwan isn't waiting to be overrun. Instead, it's embracing the porcupine strategy, making invasion as painful and costly as possible. Rather than matching China ship for ship, Taiwan invests in mobile, survivable weapons and advanced air defenses, including the ambitious Taiwan Dome. The island is building its own submarines, like the Hai Kun, to disrupt blockades and target high-value Chinese assets. Taiwan's push for self-sufficiency aims to ensure it can defend itself, even if foreign arms are delayed. Mandatory military service has been extended, and civil defense drills are now routine. The resolve of the Taiwanese people is clear. They're preparing to defend their democracy at all costs. Every move sends a message to Beijing: Taiwan will not surrender without a fight. The porcupine's quills are up, ready for any threat. Hope remains for peace, but Taiwan is preparing for the worst. The numbers across the Taiwan Strait are stark. China's military dwarfs Taiwan's in size, budget, and technology. The PLA boasts over 2 million soldiers and the world's largest navy, while Taiwan's forces are a fraction of that. China's Air Force fields thousands of modern jets, including stealth fighters, outmatching Taiwan's aging fleet. Years ago, China's hardware lagged behind, but now it leads in hypersonic missiles, AI, and electronic warfare. Missiles like the DF-21D threaten U.S. carriers, aiming to keep American forces at bay and isolate Taiwan. Yet, Taiwan has advantages: motivated defenders, rugged terrain, and a coastline that's a nightmare for invaders. An amphibious assault across the strait would be one of the hardest military operations in history. While the balance tilts toward Beijing, a successful invasion is far from certain. The cost for China could be catastrophic, a reality that still gives pause. Taiwan's defenders are ready, knowing what's at stake. The gap is wide, but the outcome is not preordained. The world is watching, aware that the price of miscalculation could be immense. The future of the strait remains uncertain. China's military drills around Taiwan are no longer just training, they're rehearsals for invasion. Massive exercises encircle the island, featuring live-fire missile tests and simulated blockades. China uses civilian ferries and modular piers to boost its ability to move troops, blurring the line between peace and war. Drones swarm Taiwan's airspace, probing defenses and exhausting pilots in a relentless gray zone campaign. These drills give the PLA real-world practice and send a psychological message to Taiwan. Resistance will be met with overwhelming force. They also warn the US and its allies: China is ready and willing to escalate. Each exercise is a calculated show of strength, raising the stakes with every maneuver. The message is clear. Beijing is preparing for all scenarios. The world can't ignore these signals. China's playbook for pressuring Taiwan is multi-layered, starting with subversion. Cyber attacks, disinformation, and economic coercion to undermine confidence in democracy. Next is a quarantine, using Coast Guard and maritime militia to choke off trade under the guise of law enforcement, making outside intervention tricky. A full blockade would be an act of war, aiming to starve Taiwan of resources and force surrender. The most dangerous scenario, a full-scale amphibious invasion, beginning with missile barrages and followed by massive troop landings. Success is far from guaranteed, but Beijing is working to close the gap. Each step up the ladder risks drawing in the US and its allies, escalating to a global crisis. The world dreads the prospect of a Pacific war, Every scenario carries enormous risks for all involved. The stakes are nothing less than regional and global stability. The threat is real, and the world is on edge. The US and Japan aren't standing by. Both are ramping up efforts to deter China and defend Taiwan. America's strategic ambiguity is giving way to clearer signals of support, with regular naval patrols through the Taiwan Strait. Japan, once strictly defensive, is now boosting its military, buying long-range missiles, and preparing for counterstrikes. US and Japanese forces are training together more than ever, focusing on rapid response and island defense. The plan deploy mobile missile and sensor units across the first island chain to challenge China's reach. These moves provoke Beijing, which accuses the US of trying to contain China, and responds with its own military drills. The action-reaction cycle is intensifying, raising the risk of miscalculation. The region is on high alert, with every move scrutinized. The line in the sand is drawn, but it's dangerously thin. The world holds its breath as tensions mount. A war over Taiwan would trigger a global economic shock. Taiwan's semiconductor industry is the world's lifeline. TSMC alone makes over 90% of the most advanced chips. Conflict would halt chip production, crippling industries from electronics to defense worldwide. The Taiwan Strait is a vital shipping lane. War would choke global trade, spike costs, and cause shortages everywhere. The economic fallout would be swift and severe, sparking inflation and recession far beyond Asia. Diplomacy is ongoing, but mistrust and opposing goals make a solution elusive. The risk of war is no longer remote, it's a present danger. The military buildup and heated rhetoric have created the most volatile environment in decades. A conflict would bring immense suffering to Taiwan and risk a US-China clash. The stakes are global. Peace in the Taiwan Strait is everyone's concern. The alternative is too devastating to contemplate. The world watches, hoping for restraint.